You are now live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
Thank you, Hannah. Good evening. The time is now 6:30 p.m. I am Select Board Member Matthew Rivard, and I'd like to call the Select Board Business Meeting to order on the 12th day of July, 2023. Will you all please join and rise and join me in this Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would ask the advisory committee to bring themselves to order.
Yes, as I am present here and the co-chair, I'll be chairing the meeting here. I'd like to call the meeting of advisory to order at 6:31 p.m.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Chairman Mike Curry of the Select Board, who is remote. Mr. Curry?
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Mike Curry. Up on vacation. Unfortunately, my vice chair, Tim, had to excuse himself from tonight's meeting. So I have asked Matt, Julie is the senior ranking, but she is not present. So I've asked Matt Rivard to rule as, or to conduct the meeting as chairman in my absence. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mike. We also have remotely John Kaplis, the chairman of the advisory committee. And John, would you like to also do the same transfer?
My co-chair has the chair for tonight's meeting, and I am also on vacation as well.
Thank you very much. Before we begin, I'd like to state for the record that not only are we being streamed live on TCTV Cable Station 8 and our YouTube web platform, but this evening's recording will be available for later viewing on our YouTube channel. We in TCTV would be happy if you subscribe. If there are any of our audience members who are or plan to record video, please let us know now. I will note that we do have a quorum for the select board in the, we have 2 people in the room, and we have Chairman Curry on the YouTube link. And the advisory committee also does have a quorum. They have 2 in the room, and we have the chairman on the YouTube link. Joining us also in the room this evening is Adam Lamontagne and other members of the select board's office. DPW Director Robert Sochik, Emergency Management Director Rich Curtis. We also have a member here from the Light and Water Department for a hearing that we're going to have on a poll, and we have other members of the public as well. As always, our agenda for this evening is publicly available at the official source for town information, templetonma.gov. There you may sign up for alerts for all public meetings, as well as our town administrator's weekly report. I would also encourage those listening who have not signed up for code red alerts to do so via our website or by calling 866-939-0911, as this is the primary method for engaging with the public for important information. Although I have the discretion as chairperson to add and remove items from the agenda, it has been set to allow for time, personnel resources, and public awareness. I reserve the right to move agenda items around to best fit our business and guests. I do not anticipate moving any agenda items this evening. We have about 14 items on our agenda this evening. I estimate that we will be done in 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I wouldn't think any longer than that. If this is your first select board meeting, we're glad you joined us. We are proud to serve the community and will address tonight's business with patience, fairness, and efficiency. We would ask the same from our guests. Let's have a great meeting. A few comments for the guests who we have who are joining us remotely this evening, the Zoom rules of the road, as it were. Please use the video when possible, although if you are waiting for your agenda item, it is better to have the video off. Use the mute feature when you are not speaking. Although TCTV and the chair can place any and all on mute, it is easier to control your own button. If you wish to speak, you may raise your hand, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or politely break in if you are only on the telephone, which we do not have that situation this evening. If you wish to see materials shared in the screen, please request that of the chair, either email or refer to which document, and this will help everyone stay synchronized and be helpful to the viewing public. Only the chair and TCTV are able to share their content screens. And now that the pleasantries are out of the way, we have meeting minutes from June 28th, 2023 in front of us that we need to approve as the select board.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of 6/28/23 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the meeting minutes of June 28th, 2023 as presented. Is there any discussion on said motion?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Lamonte?
the only thing I would suggest maybe documents used under documents 5C, 5E, 5F, and 6A, where the documents included in the packet.
Yep.
To be just a little bit more specific, and I think that will cover the board
Mhm.
in regards, because that was what was included in the last packet. Is that correct, Jackie?
Under 42620.
Under just documents used, because we just have to list the documents used, and I think that will be fairly specific, where folks could understand that they could find the documents from the last meeting under those sections.
Makes sense?
That's my only
Any
other,
comment?
yeah.
The only comment that I had on these meeting minutes, is that, under, number 3, approval of meeting minutes from prior meetings, meeting minutes, June 14th, 2023. You have there that Griffiths amended the motion to approve the amended minutes for 6/14/2023, Rivard seconded, and a roll call vote there, and then there was another roll call vote. Is that redundant?
I have something there too.
I think
I think it was just explaining what happened, and then on the bottom was. Oh, no, yeah, that's redundant.
Okay.
And
So,
then it says unanimous vote.
Okay.
and Jackie, in the first sentence, Griffiths made a motion to approve minutes as presented, not as amended, as presented, and then Matt amended it.
And then amended.
Okay, and then the other one, I was looking at, so after Rivard made a motion to approve, that's down to 1, 2, 3 lines. Mr. Kaplis asked the chair to do his housekeeping, and then Noel motioned to accept the minutes. I don't know if that's important to anybody, but Kaplis asked the chair to do his housekeeping.
That's below it. Francis made him.
Right, but there's
make
no
a motion.
notation that we move to the advisory committee for their
Yeah,
house.
it
for
looks
their
like it's
minutes,
part of
yeah.
ours, but Kaplis,
add
Mr. Kaplis
advisory.
made
Yep.
him, right. And then for the record, and this is probably just me being picky, but could you put resident Gail Noel spoke concerning the current use of the money raised by the Friends of the Templeton Elders for the kitchen at the Senior Community Center? Because if we ever wanted to go back and look for that,
So say it again. Raised for the,
Resident Gail Noel spoke concerning the current use of the money raised by the Friends of the Templeton Elders for the kitchen at the Senior Community Center. It gives us a little more information if we wanted to go back and look for that. And I know Jeff,
Yep.
kitchen for the, okay.
I can give it to you. I have it written if you want.
No, I got it.
So. And then there was some things that. On the next page, action E. E was moved. Advisory committee, agenda select board. I don't know if E was moved before D. So it should be after C.
You mean it was taken first?
Yeah, we skipped D to go to E.
You still put them in that
Oh,
order
okay.
though.
All right, then I'm done. Sorry.
One other note, under citizen input, Resident Bennett's name is misspelled. I know that's
So
minor, but
without,
it's 2 T's.
okay.
We would need a motion to amend. We do have multiple changes, please.
Second that.
But,
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
so moved.
okay, so I have a motion.
Yep, second to amend.
Motion. I have a motion to amend the minutes as we have presented by Ms. Griffiths, seconded by Mr. Curry.
That's correct.
And vote or no?
roll call.
Roll call. Okay. Is there any discussion on the amendments? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So now we move to the motion on the floor to accept the minutes from the 28th of June, now as amended. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Advisory Committee, do you have any minutes that you need to accept?
Not at this time.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, let's move to item 4. We have no executive session minutes to accept this evening, so we will move to item 4, citizen input. Do we have any citizens who would like to provide input this evening? We'd ask you to please come forward to the hot seat and please state your name and your address for the record, and then please do.
Hi, Gail Noel, Winchester Street, and I would just like to ask what the status is of the drawings for the kitchen
For the senior center.
and senior center.
Mr. Lamontagne, can we, we're gonna have to get back to Ms. Noel on that one, I would believe. Okay, can we get back to you on that one?
Yep, just keeping it up.
Yep.
Thank you, Gail.
Have the town administrators, team take a note to get back to Ms. Noel on that, please? Thank you. Any other citizen input this evening?
Hi, Elizabeth Toth, Gray Road. I've got 2 comments.
Okay,
I'll start with my concern over the agenda items that have been, the agenda has been updated no less than 3 times. First on the 6th, the 7th, and then the 10th. And the 7th, the town hall was actually closed. It was a Friday. And previously, when I've tried to get something added to the agenda, I was told at that point that agenda items could not be adjusted on days that the town hall was closed. So I don't understand why there's 2 different sets of rules. I know you can't answer that question, but that is my question.
okay,
The second thing is concerning the end of year transfers.
Okay.
And that is, so at town meeting, we did end of year transfers. Then end of year transfers were again done on the 28th. And tonight's agenda item has more end of year transfers. And from my personal opinion, this does not look good on the town from a financial perspective. And I question the need for having that number. All of this should have been handled at the town meeting. This shouldn't be handled by exception like this. I'd like to know if we're going to have any other surprises and what we're going to do so it doesn't happen again next year. So that is really what I'm looking for, is to, what are we going to do? Because July 15th is this Friday.
Right.
So those are my comments. All right, thank you.
thank you. Do we have any other citizen input this evening?
Matt, I wrote those down.
Thank you,
I just wanted to say,
Candace.
Candace Graves,
Yep.
90 Queen Lake Road, Templeton, also the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. I just wanted to let everybody know that soccer is open for registration. We'll close on August 5th. We also have, we're excited. We're going to be introducing pretty soon a registration for fall softball, which will be happening on Sundays. That will be coming in the next few weeks or so to the public. And we have National Play Outside Day coming up on August 5th. And we're looking for artists and crafters and all kinds of vendors. If you have a favorite food truck and you're visiting it recently, like in the next week or so, and you want to mention to them, they can reach out to us. We're just excited about having National Play Outside Day from 9 to 5. It'll be crafts, arts, and like a regular craft type of fair. And then in the evening, we're going to showcase our rec programs with our coordinators and directors. And we're going to have a movie in the park. So it's going to be a fun event. And just want to let everybody know of all these things going on at Parks and Rec. And we have other things that are going to be announced in the next few days or so that we're excited about too. So
Excellent. Thank you, Candace. Great to hear all the things that are going on
Could she say the date again?
for.
National Play Outside Day?
it's August 5th.
Thank you, Candace. Great to hear so many things going on with Parks and Rec. We appreciate it. Is there any other citizen input this evening? All right. Hearing none, we will close citizen input. We will move to item 5, new business. Under new business, item A, we have introduction of 2 new employees this evening. We have TCT Program Coordinator Ben Ford, and we have Media Assistant Erin Bresnahan. Mr. Castle, how are you, sir?
Fine, yourself.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You know what this is?
This is,
Portable camera?
this is a 360-degree camera.
Ooh,
So like the top ribbon of the meeting owl that we see.
yeah.
It can take a 360-degree view, or it can go 180, however you want to use it. And we have an opportunity with Wachusett Business Incubator where we have some space in their offices to partake in a grant that they received. And they said, hey, you know, we bought some 3D printers with half of the grant, and what do you want to do with the other half?
Hmm.
And I said, wow, gee, can we buy some 360-degree cameras, please? And they said, sure, and we did that. And the only catch was they came in, I think, late May, early June, and we had to prepare and present a class in these by the end of June. So that's where our new program coordinator, Ben Ford, comes in. And Ben was hired and quickly got thrown into the fire because I said, I don't have time to learn this. And Ben's a techie and is going through the Mounts Media Arts program.
The film and video program.
Yeah. The film and video program, and he knows his stuff, and he learned 360-degree photography in a couple of weeks and taught a class and did a spectacular job.
Nice
Excellent.
job.
And you should see the video is wild. We're gonna post it soon on YouTube. So we haven't shared him here at Town Hall too much because I've got a list of other tech things that I need him to check out. And we'll get him on meetings sometime soon. But we're also dealing with 3 interns right now. So that's Ben, and he's doing a great job already.
Excellent. Welcome aboard, Ben. Thank you. Welcome to the team. Appreciate you coming on board. Where are you from? Just out of curiosity.
I'm from Athol, Massachusetts. So I'm not that far down the road, like 10-15 minutes.
Good. Very good. Well, it's good. We're glad to have you.
So he's doing a great job. And we also, in the last few weeks, Erin Bresnahan has started. And
Hello, Erin.
Erin is finishing up her studies at Fitchburg State in communications. I know she has a concentration in something I can't remember right now, but she'll tell you about that. And she's very interested in theater technology and what goes on behind the scenes with lighting and wiring and all that stuff. So we thought she'd be a good fit here. And she's also into writing, and we're going to put her on all of the much of the arts and theater coverage on Montechusett.tv. So we're thrilled to have her working with her, and welcome, Erin.
Welcome, Erin. It's great to have you on the team.
Thank you for having me here.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Ashburnham, but these days I live in Gardner.
Excellent. Very good.
And what is your major?
Communications media with a concentration in technical theater.
Very, very good. Excellent. Well, it's great to have you on the team. Welcome aboard. Go Falcons.
Welcome aboard.
All right. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
I am
Castle.
thrilled beyond belief with these 2 employees.
We like to hear it. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Castle. Welcome aboard, everyone. Okay. Item 5B. We have 2 appointments to make this evening. The first is an appointment to the Cable TV Committee. We have a committee interest form in our packet for John Columbus. I don't believe, is Mr. Columbus here with us this evening? He is not. Mr. Chair, would you like to postpone this, or are you okay with going forward with the?
I move to appoint John Columbus to the Cable TV Committee.
Okay,
Second.
I have a motion and a second to appoint John Columbus to the Cable TV Committee. Do I have any discussion?
None.
Yes?
Just need a term,
Oh,
ending 6/30/24.
will you please,
amended.
so amended? To end, the term to end on June 30th, 2020.
Second that amendment.
All right, so I have an amendment to add the ending term of June 30th, 2024 to the appointment. Is there any discussion on the amendment?
You don't have to vote the amendment.
On the motion as amended, then I move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. We also have to make an appointment of town council for the fiscal year 2024. Mr. Lamontagne, who are we recommending appointing?
Miaris and Harrington, they've done a fabulous job. They've been involved, working with us on numerous different matters, and I recommend the appointment of Miaris and Harrington for another fiscal year. I think all of you at one point or the other worked with them, and they do an exceptional job for the town of Templeton.
Okay, in that case, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Miaris and Harrington as town council, each to for a term of 1 year expiring on June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second,
and I have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Mike. I think it also, I agree with Adam's recommendation, and I think for consistency's sake, we have a lot of things going on right now. Their team has been responsive. They have given us excellent advice for the big things and the little things that wind up, those quick phone calls. So I absolutely have 100% faith in Myers Harrington.
so would it be reappoint?
Reappoint doesn't, yeah.
So
Doesn't 6 of one, half a dozen of another in this respect. We're appointing them. It is a reappointment, but we're appointing them. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
none.
Hearing none, a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes.
And I am a yes as well.
I also like to say thanks to John Columbus. He's been a great public servant. I'm glad to see he's stepping up for another assignment.
Excellent. Okay. Next item on the agenda of new business, item C is a public hearing for a pole on Phillipston Road. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to enter a public hearing for the purpose of discussing the relocation of a utility pole on Phillipston Road.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter public hearing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. We are entering public hearing as of 6:52 PM. At this point, I would invite the Light and Water Department to come up to discuss the pole that is to be moved. Mr. Berry,
Hi, good
how are you?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you? It's actually 5 poles.
Okay,
We're working at the beginning of Phillipston Road from the 5-way intersection that we discussed a couple of weeks ago, up through pole 5. We're just looking to relocate them and actually add a couple of poles in there to shorten up the spans. We're eventually going to be replacing the primary conductor on those. It's some small bare copper. We're going to be replacing it with some insulated aluminum wire. I did get approval from Verizon. They're joint owners with us. And it's pretty straightforward. We would also be adding a push pole on the proposed pole number 1.5.
What's a push pole?
Mhm.
What is it?
It's another guying pole that offsets the corner.
you certainly may. Go right ahead.
So this is kind of going back, the pole that you're gonna replace in the middle of Queen Lake Road, what's gonna happen to that little island on?
In the middle of the road.
Yeah,
Um,
right in front of Pease.
Yeah, that would be
Right
the
in front of
DPW
Pease,
director. then-
yeah, that would, once the pole's out of there.
Maybe at some point down the road, but not in the near future, we can re-engineer and design that intersection, because there are a few issues up there with that.
Have to put some barrels out there. Pole's gone. There's a little island. Isn't that pole on a little island?
Yeah,
That could be a driving hazard.
we haven't had any issues with people driving through the island.
Well, because the pole is on it, but we're gonna move the pole off it and put it on the,
Well, that's not gonna invite them to drive through the island. We can. put some markers or-
right, but nobody wants to drive through an island. It's just gonna be a hazard.
They don't know.
I'm just thinking in advance. The pole's gonna be gone. The cement is, the tar is up like this. People are people. We're all human. We make mistakes.
Out there.
Take it out.
It
or
was
something.
just a question, if you can change one thing before an accident happens, We save people's lives, maybe. you know.
Yeah, that entire thing would need some re-engineering before we'd be able to just wipe that out. So that we'd have to, the DPW would have to go out to get that redesigned before we do anything with that. I would think
Thanks.
anyways, so,
Well,
but it's a good
It's all right in
Yeah.
line with these. That's what it just came to me.
but it is a good point to know. You're absolutely right.
You don't want anybody getting killed.
Yes, this kind of goes hand in hand with that.
South Road is not be the first.
Hmm.
Nice street. People will slow down. Dig that thing out, they're gonna zip through that for a second.
Yeah, but if they zip through it and hit that, they could go airborne.
That'll teach them to zipping through there over the speed limit.
You have anything else you want to present, Mr. Berry, or?
No, I was just gonna say that this kind of does coincide with that pole being moved.
Yeah.
You know, the spans, we,
Right.
we designed it so the spans, you know, are equal with the new location of that pole.
Very good. Do you have anything, do we have anyone else to speak in favor of this pole relocation? Do we have anyone here to speak against this pole relocation?
The 5.
Five pole relocation. Hearing no further comments either for or against, Mr. Berry, what is your recommendation on this matter?
I would appreciate approval to relocate the poles as presented.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing on the relocation of poles on Phillipston Road.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing of relocation of poles on Phillipston Road. Is there any discussion? Gail, you okay?
Well, on the agenda, it said public hearing. Also, there's year-end transfers under that.
Those are coming. The public, those come after the public hearing. We have to return to our regular meeting in order to be able to vote on this, and then we'll go to the transfers. Any other discussion? Hearing none, move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I am a yes as well. The public hearing on the polls on Phillipston Road is hereby closed, and we are returning to the regular business meeting of the select board. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Yep. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the relocation of poles 1 through 5 as in the addition of a new pole and push brace pole on Phillipston Road as presented.
Second
Yep.
that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the relocation of poles 1 through 5 and the addition of a new pole and a push brace pole on Phillipston Road as presented. Do I have any further discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. That motion passes at 6:57. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you, Tom.
now. Next item on our agenda this evening is item C1. A year-end transfer from fire to IT, and this is joint with the advisory committee. Mr. Lamontagne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Select Board Advisory Committee.
Adam, can you just please speak up?
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
So, members of the Select Board Advisory Committee, we have some year-end transfers. Unfortunately, the transfers over at the annual town meeting, as hopeful as we were to get to the end of the fiscal year, that wasn't the case. So with this one, we have from fire to IT. IT is an interesting account because this is, since I've been here, we've never had to do a transfer to IT. This is for $3,500 from fire personnel to IT purchase of services. We had some unexpected increases. Emails went up, some other things went up. Holly, if you want to elaborate a little bit further on this one, because you handle our IT accounts, I'd appreciate that. Just so you could kind of give an idea of the increases we had, and you brought it to my attention, but it's for $3,500.
I generally by budget, we're hoping that we have the, exact costs we're gonna have for the next year. But with, Comcast and Microsoft, they don't play by those rules. You are on contract with Comcast, so those increased. The emails of Microsoft went up quite a bit. in the beginning of the fiscal year. And the website annual service fee also went up. So we just had a lot of things go up from inflation that caused that to happen.
All right, I would open up to the advisory first. Advisory, do you have any questions for the TA or the TA's office on this transfer?
Holly, my question would be directed to you. Is, look, these contracts, they come up fiscal year to fiscal year.
You know, how Comcast is when anyone gets a service. It's the same with us. There's no, even though you're a government account, you have this price and then you come off contract and they jack it up and you have to call and renegotiate. So generally those just go up.
And I think what I'm driving at would be, how much notice did the town receive for these increases?
None. They just go up.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you come off the contract with cable or any of those kind of companies and it just goes up and you have to call and say, wait a minute, what happened? We're on a new contract, yours just ended. You have to renegotiate.
When did the contract end?
What contract?
What
Okay.
we were just talking about.
There's a bunch of them. It's for all the buildings.
When did the Comcast contract end?
They're all on different schedules.
You can get them all on one. My understanding.
I'm sure.
And you should know in advance when they're going to end. All right, but just when do they?
They're all different, so I don't know when each one of them ends. There's 8 different ones.
We should research when they all end so that we can understand better and be able to renegotiate as the time comes up.
We're getting them all on
Or
the
align
same
'em.
cycle. That's part of forecasting, get them all on the same cycle maybe, and they should give us discounts. If we have 8 accounts in one,
They
Well,
don't.
it's different companies. It's like
They don't,
Microsoft, it's
right.
Comcast, it's a bunch of different places. They're not all gonna.
Mm.
Yeah, when she says 8
So
accounts,
it's
it's 8
8
different companies, more than 8
8
accounts, yeah.
companies,
7 or 8.
different companies.
Yeah.
No,
Can,
different buildings that have.
do you get it, Matt? She's not.
Oh, yeah,
saying
okay,
different
now I see what you're
accounts,
saying. I'm sorry, yeah.
Different buildings,
Yeah, I
same
see what you're
company,
saying.
It is a different account. They
but same company,
on the same.
all with Comcast,
Yeah.
8 buildings.
Even umbrella.
So that'd be something.
Lot
So
of
can we get an update next meeting that
I mean,
we
at
look
least
into
research
that?
when all these,
Some research into that. Can we
we
do
at
that?
least research when all these contracts end and see if we can find a way to align them and. I mean, it would be.
What I could do is have Holly follow up with the company.
Please, yeah. Because that seems like an area where we could align all those contracts so that they all at least end on the same period, which if it ended on the fiscal year, that'd be even better. But I mean, it's also true, we could potentially get some sort of cost alignment as a result of having all those.
Do you need a month, Molly? Do you need more time? I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't know your schedule. Do you
I'm
need,
not exactly sure what you're asking.
is to call Comcast and to try to get the 8 contracts in one.
How did I
One.
get an assignment out of this? I have
Would-
done that before.
would recommend-
I've been running these accounts for 10 years. and I've
Yeah,
tried to call before and have them combine them and they will not do that. That's just
Okay.
how they operate.
Mike, you were gonna say something, go ahead.
I would not recommend it, but.
Okay. Anything else from advisory regarding this?
John and Mike, do you have any further questions?
Yes. John, anything from you?
I do not.
From select board, any questions regarding this transfer of funds?
Yes, Matt.
Mike, go ahead.
Can you give me the from and to again, Adam?
From fire personnel to IT purchase of service, 3,500.
I got a question. Why fire personnel?
Fire personnel had monies in it that they didn't use for call firefighters that didn't respond to or didn't come in for calls that the chief had excess. We followed up with Chief Dickey and there was I believe at the end of the year, we're gonna have over roughly around $30,000 off in that account.
Okay, so I just, thank you for that explanations. I was concerned about during our budget process where we had some lump sum disallows and fire. I wanted to make sure that it was a coordinated transfer and that it was due to sometimes he doesn't know in his personnel whether he's going to need extra or otherwise. So I appreciate your explanation for that. We're very sensitive when we start moving money out of emergency services, that it has a targeted and coordinated purpose. Thank you.
Any other questions from the select board on this? Hearing none. This does require 2 votes, one from advisory and one from the select board in order for this to move forward. So at this time, I would ask advisory if you would please move forward with your motion and vote.
Concerning advisory, John or Michael, is there any further discussion?
You guys do have to make a motion.
I have none, and I'll make a motion to have that money moved.
Second.
From,
All right, there's been a motion and a second to have that money moved, the sum of $3,500. And John, how do you vote?
yes,
You're going to have discussion.
Michael?
Yes.
Right, I vote yes.
Okay, let the record show that advisory committee has voted 3-0 in favor to move the funds from fire personnel to IT purchase of services in the amount of $3,500. At this time, the select board will now do the same. I will entertain a motion.
I need some clarity first, because I know if this is not the only budget amendment that we're going to have, what is the number on the one that advisory just did? I know it's from fire personnel services to IT, but for being specific, what is the budget amendment number?
3,500.
That's the dollar amount.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at a spreadsheet that shows transfers, and these amendments are numbered. So I just want to make sure that we actually have the transfer, the proper number with it. I understand that what it says, but I just want to make sure what the number is. Like we have another one in our packet that is budget amendment 2024-1 that we'll be discussing. I just want to make sure that this one also has a register number.
This is.
Oh, I get it. This one, I don't see it.
On the transfer sheet, it's already there.
Well, I'll say this isn't a budget amendment. This is a end of year transfer. So.
All right, my apologies. It's just, so it's an unnumbered transfer.
Yeah, this is an end of year transfer, not a budget amendment. So this
All
is
right,
yeah.
my mistake. Thank you.
That's okay. No,
So I would make a motion to move $3,500 from fire personnel to IT.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second that motion.
I have a motion to move I have a motion from the select board to move $3,500 from fire personnel to IT purchase of services. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. The select board has voted 3-0 to move as an end of year transfer, the $3,500 from fire personnel to IT purchase of services, and the advisory committee chairperson in the room will sign that transfer, and the select board chairman in the room will sign that transfer. In new business items 5C2, we have another end of year transfer. This one from fire personnel to insurance and benefits in the amount of $1,950. Mr. Lamontagne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one, fire to insurance and benefits, this was for $1,950. What happened here was we had it down to pretty much the dollar amount when we did the transfer to insurance and benefits at the town meeting. But what happened was we ended up getting unexpected bill from our insurance company for over $1,700 for equipment changes and the like. And that was not anticipated, as well as we received a tuition reimbursement. I set those now where I issued an administrative directive that those are to be submitted to me from September 15th through October 15th. So that way we can forecast it and we don't get into this predicament again. So it's 1,950 from fire personnel to insurance and benefits other account. That's pretty much it. And between the two transfers, you're looking at roughly $5,500, which I consider pretty good for the most part. And our budget should be all in good shape for when we close out our books.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Again, I'll open it to advisory first. Do you have any questions for Mr. Lamontagne or the TA's office regarding this transfer?
Yes, my question to the town administrator would be, did you do your due diligence as far as trying to find areas within the FY 23 budget to to account for this money? Or is it just money you couldn't find anywhere?
The insurance and benefits account is difficult because it's one account. It's not like the select board account, for example, where we have other sub accounts where you could kind of try to figure to do an intra transfer. That's a challenge with the insurance and benefits account, is you really have that one insurance and benefits other. So you expend, the only way to really transfer is to do this, unfortunately.
And did the bill show up between the last time we met and sometime after we last met in June?
Holly, do you recall
Yeah.
when the tuition reimbursement came after? What was the?
Got it. I want to say it was the second week in June, because I paid it June 23rd.
So, yeah.
I pay him as soon as I get him.
Any questions? Other questions from advisory?
John or Michael, do you have any questions?
No.
No, I do not. I want to entertain a motion. I could do a motion at this point to have that money moved from.
John, I'd like you to hold that until the select board has asked any questions that we may have, please. Is
My
there any,
apologies.
quite all right? Is there any questions from the select board regarding this transfer?
None over here.
Barry? No? Okay. All right. Hearing no questions from the select board at this time, we will do the same thing. Again, this requires 2 votes, one from the advisory committee and one from the select board. And at this time, I will turn it over to the select board for them to make their motion and take their vote.
That'll be advisory.
Oh, advisory. Okay. Knew that was going to happen at least once. Let's turn it over to advisory. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion on the $1,950 transfer.
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you. Let the record show that the advisory committee has voted 3 yes and 0 no in favor of transferring $1,950 from fire personnel to the insurance and benefits account. At this time, I'll now entertain a motion from the select board.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the end of year transfer from fire personnel 5,100 to insurance and benefits in the amount of $1,950.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to move $1,950 as an end of year transfer from the fire personnel account to the insurance and benefits other account. Is there any discussion?
You don't have to say 24.
No, wrong one. We're still up here.
Okay.
We're still up here. It's not on the draft motion. It's here. It's these ones.
Okay.
It's on it. Hearing no discussion, I move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Let the show that the select board has voted 3-0 to move the $1,950 from fire personnel to insurance and benefits. The select board chairman in the room tonight will sign the transfer, and the advisory committee chairman in the room tonight will sign the transfer. Advisory committee, do you have any further business this evening?
John, is there any further business?
We do not. I'll entertain a motion right now to adjourn the advisory committee.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? John,
Yes.
Michael? Yes. Yes. We are adjourned.
Let the record show that the advisory committee was adjourned at 7:16 PM.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for your assistance this evening, advisory committee.
Thank you.
Continuing with the select board agenda for this evening. Item 5D under new business, we have in front of us a one-day wine and malt license request from Moon Hill Brewing Company. And this is in alignment with the National Play Outside Day on August 5th to be held at Gilman Wake. Ms. Graves.
Yes, it is. I am here to represent the Moon Hill Brewing Company there for the ale house. And they put in their application and I talked to them this morning and they understand everything that they need to do. They have to have like fencing and people can't like be out of that area. They should be going from 9 to 5. And I don't know, they did everything and said everything they needed to do, so I don't know what you wanna know. I've never done this before. I don't even drink, so
That's okay.
I don't full disclosure. I've never done this.
That is a dichotomy right there.
Right. So it's
Okay.
interesting, yeah.
Nope.
So I have a different perspective because of that, yeah.
Fair enough. I understand that. I will open it up to any questions from the select board.
Oh, okay.
I got a question.
Go for it, Mike.
Candace, how are they fitting into the Play Outside Day?
So they're gonna be in the arts and craft part of our day. So that from 9 to 5, we're doing like, you know, like a craft fair. So we're having different vendors and it's almost similar to what we've had in the past in our town in the center of Templeton, except we're bringing some different elements. In the evening hours, we'll be between 4 and 5, we'll be opening our concession stand and we'll be going into the play aspects of it with the kids and stuff. But in the daytime, it's more of a craft fair. So that's how the ale house fits in with that. We're just trying to bring a form of a craft fair back to our town. We felt like the commissioners and we all felt that it was needed for our community to have that. And we thought Gilman Wait, we many times we were standing there thinking how lovely this property is, that it can house full trucks and the different vendors and a little safer because you're not crossing the streets, you know, to go between things. So we hope that that this will happen and become an annual thing for our town.
So it's not a tasting, it's just a place to sit and have.
Yeah, they'll have our area roped off. It depends on it. They've had a couple of, they thought maybe they'll just do samples and then later on in the day, they would sell, do more. But, and then they said they could do like a mimosa or something in the earlier day and do mimosas.
Mm-hmm.
So they said that whatever the guidelines in the town says for this license, they will apply to it. They filled out all the proper paperwork and stuff. And we, as the rec commission, we talked it out many times and with the lawyers and everybody. So we've looked into everything aspects of this. And we think this is going to be a fun activity, and having the ale house, the Moon Hill Brewing, we think it'll be a great fit for this, this event. Something different for our town that we've never seen before,
Excellent. Mike, did that cover you?
That was excellent. I very much appreciate that description. My next question, police department, has Chief Bennett or anyone been a part of that discussion?
I didn't know, the rec commission, the Parks and Rec Commission, we voted for our property and what we can have because we govern our properties. And we looked into all the laws and stuff. And during this process, nobody has said that there was an issue with the chief or
No,
filling any extra out.
If I can.
if it's gonna be alcohol served,
Right.
I definitely want the public safety team to be aware that they are having, whether they're roped off or otherwise, we still need to have that visibility. And I want to make sure that we've got the integration with that.
Okay. Well, I would hope we get a lot of support from the different departments and stuff in the town like we've done in the past when we had the big craft fair in the center of town. This being a town event being put on by Parks and Rec that we hope that we have, you know, from the like CERT or anything like that. We would hope that we get some of that stuff. But like I said, this is the first time that the rec department has ever done anything like this. Like just like, you know, it's the first time that we're doing bathrooms, and our bathrooms are going to be opening shortly. These are all first for us in figuring it out, but we feel like this is and just having having Moon Hill, it'd be the only one there, you know, I think is very responsible, not getting a bunch of them, you know, having just this one, you know, sponsor that asked to if they could serve. And we looked into it, and we had already known because we had made our policies that this was a possibility.
I think Tim just wants to make sure that Chief Bennett is involved in that we have our that the police department has had their has weighed in on it to make sure that they don't have any concerns with holding it. Mike?
Yeah, it just, I think it's great. It's gonna have a good feel if it adds in an element that requires a risk assessment to address that aspect of it. And so there are members of our town team. I know the park is gonna look great. I heard about the bathrooms. Adam told me today. I think things are looking up. I think it's gonna be a great event. I like how you're folding things into it. I just want to make sure from a risk perspective that we set the conditions so it's successful. So in the future, we don't have to ask the questions, and we basically wind up having the template for how to do this. So good job.
Well, I just want to tell you that Moon Hill, talking to them today, they have done many of these events. They understand everything, like signage. They're the ones who said that we most likely, they believe that they said we have to put a sign up. I go, like, you do? They're like, yeah, we know this. So she told me the different things that they have to do, that even stuff that putting this application in that we didn't say anything to them because I don't do that part. That would be on the town administrator's office. But she told me all of these things. Like this morning when I talked to her, she said that she's going to have to put a sign out. She's got to make sure the fencing's right. She said, and so they've done this many times throughout the different communities where they've come to parks or they've come to, you know, the street or something and sold alcohol. So I think that having the Moon Hill Brewing Company and the Ale House, I think is a wonderful business that to have to do this with, because they know what they're doing.
So Mike, do you have anything else? You had your hand raised, because then I have to go to I have to go to Mr. Sosik and Mr. Lamontagne and then Ms. Toth in the room in that order, because we have three more.
The last thing that I'll say is Moon Hill Brewing has a very good reputation. Everything that Candace just said, 100%. I know they have a good reputation.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Like I said, Mr. Sosik first, then Mr. Lamontagne, and then Ms. Toth. Bob?
Just a couple quick points. Might get it on the head. I think they definitely need to reach out to the public safety buildings. I see a need for a certain department to maintain emergency access to that location for one. And I would recommend there be no glass in the house.
Yep. I think that makes 100% sense as well. Yep. Thank you. Adam,
I was just
we'll
gonna
get to you. I will get to you as well, Rich.
I was just going to further add, the police department will be involved, so I wouldn't be too concerned. We're going to coordinate with working with Candace about this. We checked with legal because it is town property. We have the open container bylaw. It turns out because that bylaw, legal ruled that because that's a Parks and Recreation Commission or the owners, they can allow it. But they need to still get the 1 day approval from the select board. So it's allowed legally. The police department will be involved and will coordinate with the fire department as well as CERT team. So that will be done.
Good.
Yep.
Very good. So
Yes, two points. Thank you. The first point is in previous years when things were done on the common. So it was wine tasting only, and it was actually done on private property. It was not physically done on town property. That's first of all. So this would be a first time.
Yep.
Second, I have a huge concern over the fact that you will have kids around there. And it is, I don't think we've ever settled on whether or not that is school grounds or not. And if it is school grounds, then you can't have alcohol.
It's not school grounds. The property is owned by the town of Templeton. It is, says in the deed is held in the name of the town of Templeton. And it is governed by Parks and Rec.
National play, it's for kids.
Yeah, that's in the evening. It says National Play Outside Day / craft fair. The craft fair is between 9 and 5. And then they're going. And then at 4 o'clock, the concession stand is going to open. And then we're going to starting rolling. So as they're packing up, we're going into the kid aspect of it. So it's just going to be a regular, and they're going to be in an isolated area. Now, in my back childhood, we would, back in the day, you'd have bazaars or you'd have some kind of things with gambling, whatever. They would put you in a certain area where kids didn't allow. Well, I'm not going to let children go in this area where I'm going to designate for them to be in the soccer field. I am not going to let. So it's going to be almost like when I was a kid, they had this garage where they went in the adults in a bazaar. That's the same thing. They're going to have the area, and I'm not putting the kids' activities or any craft booths or anything near their booth. They'll be having their own space. I mean, I'm very aware of that. Like I said, I'm not a drinker, so.
So.
I don't think. Yeah.
That's okay. No, I understand. Actually, Rich, you were next. That's okay.
Chief isn't here to comment
Yeah.
on this, but I believe anytime you have a gathering of so many people, they have to be hired.
Yeah.
Hire
Detail.
So that's something you gotta keep in mind. The
Yep.
police are probably gonna be there.
Yep. Ollie.
I just want to make a point, just so everyone's aware. When they have these, it's a roped off area. They're gonna have a tent. And not only is Candace not gonna let children in there, but
They're not.
the Gardner Ale House is not gonna let children in that tent.
Yeah, they had to give the town certificates of their workers to say that they were certified about when they serve, how they do all that. I mean, Holly knows more about what they had to give you. So we're all aware of this. And like I said, we understand that the title seems like, but the evening hours, the movie in the park is more geared towards the children. This is more for everybody in a community to enjoy. And some people enjoy to have a mimosa or something. So.
Go to Gail first and then Gail had her hand. Can I go and then go to you? Gail? No? Okay. Terry?
So the delineation this year is, last year, National Play Outside Day was 4 till 10, say the movie, we enjoyed that. And this year, you're trying to resurrect the craft fair.
Yeah.
So you would like to implement that from 9 to 5 to see if you can get the ball rolling, because last year the craft fair tried to get established and it didn't. And so,
And the community really wanted it.
right, and
Yeah.
so we don't know what the future is gonna hold. If
No.
you're gonna have it on the same day, or if it takes off, or if it, or if
Right.
you choose to have it on a different day, but at least you're trying. You're starting something different. I'm a teetotaler, not a big alcohol fan, but hey, there are people out there, and I was joking with Maddie, they love mimosas for breakfast. I'm not one of them.
But yeah, well, we just feel like because we're there already and we're having this event, and we said, well, during the it's part of the day, nothing's happening there. So we said, grown-ups like to celebrate, they like to be outside, they like to have activities too in the community. And we just felt like really all you keep on, many people we see on the internet, or we see in our personal lives, how people, they wish that certain things that we had are back. We understand that nothing can ever come back the way it was, that, how lovely it was. But we feel like that property is a great property for a craft fair. And the rec commission, we felt like, well, let's just open it up and see if the public will it happen? Will we get enough vendors where people will enjoy the event? Will we get, and we definitely wanted to celebrate, being outside as a, group of people. And then we also wanted to highlight and have some fun activities for children in the evening hours, because we wanted to gear into, having a movie. And we just didn't we don't have a lot of volunteers. Like we would love to have a lot of volunteers. So it's easier for us to do something on one than a bunch of different days.
And it overlaps for an hour.
Yeah, that's because what you're doing is really they're packing up and leaving and we're opening a concession stand and they're going and that's why it's overlapping for an hour. It's more of transitional reasons why.
Brave.
And also we're bringing back the play group.
Yeah.
Once a- Once
Yeah.
playground, once a
Saw
week.
that.
Yeah, once a week, we have someone that's gonna bring it back for us.
I saw
Little
that.
by little, next year we'll build on it.
A lot of
So
people
that's
been-
another thing everybody in the community really misses, the
Miss it.
play group, the
Yeah.
playground group.
They
Yeah.
do.
All right. So staying on the topic that we have in front of us, which is the one day wine and malt license application for Moon Hill for August 5th, 2023. Do we have any further discussion on this particular item? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Yep, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I move to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Moon Hill Brewing at the Gilman Waite Field during the National Play Outside Day sponsored by Templeton Parks and Recreation on Saturday, August 5th, 2023.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
We're gonna have discussion if I second.
We can, yes.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on this motion?
Can we change it from during the National Play Outside Day? It's not during the National Play Outside Day. National Play Outside Day is from 4 to 10, right? It's during the craft fair.
Yeah.
So I
Make
would
that amendment.
make an amendment to say during the craft fair from 9 to 5, sponsored by the Templeton Parks and Recreation, not, it's confusing the way it's written.
I have an amendment proposed. Do I have a second on the amendment?
Yes, so amended.
So I have a motion and a second on the amendment. So it is so amended. It will now read, I move to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Moon Hill Brewing at the Gilman Waite Field during the craft fair sponsored by Templeton Parks and Recreation on Saturday, August 5th, 2023.
Second, that amended motion.
So at this time, do we have any further discussion on the motion as amended?
Yes, so
Mr.
the
Curry.
application says National Play Outside Day.
Mhm.
So I understand what you're saying and I understand the discussion, but it's coinciding with the National Play Outside Day.
Well,
If it's gonna be, the application, if we're going to change our amendment, then it should be reflected on the application. I don't want to change somebody's application to say, oh, that's what you meant. If Moon Hill Brewing, Rick Walton, Stacy Kazinkas, Jen Plummer, Lisa Thiem, they're the ones who put this application forward and with the liability disclaimer.
If it helps in our literature, when we sent it out for sponsors and stuff, it said it's National Play Outside Day, and we had a slash and it said craft fair.
Mhm.
That's how we did it to explain to people how it was.
So
This is the first
would
time,
do that.
I just want to say this to the public. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. We really could use volunteers and to come and help us with the Parks and Rec Department. We are very low numbered in staff. I do a lot of stuff myself. And we really feel like our community needs this push of an event. We
Point of order.
lost so much.
point of order, please,
Yes.
Mr. Curry.
So point of order is we're in the deliberation. We've kind of heard the rest of
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
And-
No.
I'm a little tired. It's been a
Okay.
long day.
So Terry, I get your amendment, but the spirit of what brought this is what Candace was just talking about. I think it could stand as National Play Outside Day. No one is looking to start having kids guzzle whatever product in whatever roped area. They basically offered that explanation. I think it can stand as National Play Outside Day because that's what brought it to us.
Well, what would happen if I disagreed? What would happen if I
Terry.
disagreed? How would that work out? What, would it be that
So
much
we
of an
have-
inconvenience?
I mean, we'd have to
Adam had
do,
his hand
go
up.
ahead, Adam.
May I just, so the application's for August 5th. So how about if we just approve the license, the the one day license for August 5th. I think that'll clear up a lot of what's being discussed. That's what the application
I'm
says.
not trying to stop it. I think it's great, but I
like Adam's idea.
wording.
So in that
Okay.
case, we would need an amendment to have the motion read, I move to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Moon Hill Brewing at the Gilman Waite Fields event sponsored by Templeton Parks and Recreation on Saturday, August 5th, 2023.
So amended.
I have an amendment. Do I have a second?
Second,
So at this point, the motion is now amended to read as such. I move to approve the one-day wine and malt license for Moon Hill Brewing at the Gilman Waite Field event sponsored by Templeton Parks and Recreation on Saturday, August 5th, 2023. You have that, Jackie? Okay. Do we have any discussion on the motion as amended? Any further discussion on the motion as amended?
Just made it the entire day. During 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's when the
the
craft
craft
fair
fair
is.
is 9 to 5.
That's not what, that's not what the emotion says. You just made it the entire day, It's 24 hours. You made it the
During
entire
the
day.
event,
Oh, so you need
Said
to put
event.
9 to 5.
during the event.
The event.
During the
which is
event.
sold,
Which is from 9 to 10.
Which is from. 9
I
to
trust the way it's being coordinated.
So I would move to amend it to just put 9 to 5.
Can we do that?
Same
and
thing.
Still have the,
Well, my point is it's a one-day wine malt license
yeah,
application.
so it's a one day, so it's technically for the day anyways. Holly?
They know that they're
Hang on, Candace, Holly.
There should be a time on there, especially because we send notification to the ABCC and it'll also give the business, we know we need to stop by this time. So whatever time you want to put, there should be a time listed.
So in that case, in that case, hearing that from Holly, if there should be a time on it, because we have to we have to contact the ABCC. I would say we can amend it to say from 9 to 5, 9 A to 5 P.
Second that. I really
Well,
appreciate that.
you need
We
to-
So
do-
amended.
We do
So
want to do
amended.
right, no matter how long it takes.
So we have an amendment to add the time from 9 AM to 5 PM to the license or to the approval. We have a second?
I do second that.
All right, so
During the event, 9 to
from
5.
9 A to 5 P. Yeah,
Yeah,
right, during the event from 9 AM to 5 PM.
I appreciate your patience, Candy.
No.
It is
That's okay.
not easy to put
No.
40
And
to
that's
50.
and that was a very good
sometimes
point. Thank you.
60 hours.
This is the first time we've ever done this, so I
He
understand.
puts over 40 to 50 hours
Mhm.
volunteer.
Oh, I do.
I mean-
They get messages 2 o'clock in
And
the
it's
morning.
gotta be like,
Let's just say that I didn't know the town clerk prints out all my agendas.
Let's bring it back in.
Great
Let's
job.
bring it back in, please, to
thank you.
completing the item.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the motion as amended? 6 times. Finally, we laughed. Okay, good. Hearing none, I move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. That motion passes at 7:38 PM as amended.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now. New business, item 5E. Another one-day wine and malt license application. This one is for the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce and Valley View Farm for their business after hours barbecue. Mr. Lamontagne.
I will, Mr. Chair, have Holly take this one. She worked with them on this.
Ms. Young.
So I got a call from Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce. They're doing this event at Valley View Farm and they wanted to put the application in. From what I understand, they're going to be having the business after hours barbecue
Mhm.
at Valley View Farm.
Yep.
And they just want to have alcohol served there. It'll be beer and wine.
So going back to the discussion we just had on the last one,
Mhm.
do we have a time frame on this? Because I don't see anything on the application.
It's the 8th.
No, the
Time
time
of the
to
day.
time.
Time of the day,
Oh,
because of the ABCC again. You just said that one, so.
yes. You know what? They didn't give me that.
Oh, after business,
Yeah,
but
it
what is
is.
after business? Right?
It is on private property, but we still should put a time.
Unfortunately, I
And
believe the
I-
applicant is here.
Right.
The applicant is not here right now either.
I thought they were gonna have Matt come, but
No,
maybe something fell through with that.
that's a problem.
It is. Could we vote it pending.
The problem with this is that, looking at the date of it, we do not have another scheduled meeting between now and when this event occurs, so it has to be approved tonight in order for it to be able to go off, unless we have another meeting.
It's not something we could have Adams.
If I can, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
What? Well, that's the thing. If the board wanted to be restrictive with it, or do they want it pending approval of either Holly, or you could delegate
With
me that authority with the time frame. I leave that to the board. Do you want to restrict it to 10 PM? Do you want to restrict it to 11 PM? Pending us discussing it with Mr. Leclerc. So you could approve it pending that and delegating the authority to us.
We could approve it pending Valley View Farm providing specific time frame for the event. Okay.
I don't see a problem with that.
But we don't have to set the time tonight.
No, that if we approved it pending Valley View Farm providing the specific time frame of the event, then it would, once they got that information to us, I believe the license would go through. Mike?
Yeah, the spirit of this event, Valley View Farms is the venue.
Right.
And they're basically receiving the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce, which is a great partner of ours. I mean, it's an after hours barbecue, like a retreat. So I would approve it for the day. You know, if it's going against liquor laws in terms of if they were asking to go to 4 o'clock in the morning, we don't have that authority. I would just approve it for the day. And if it's for 8/8, that means it expires at 11:59 PM. I don't see a problem with that.
Mary, you have any questions you want to?
So just after business hours to 11:59 PM.
Well, it's a one-day license, so
It's a one-day license. So it
midnight to
expires
11:59.
midnight anyway.
Yeah, so it expires that anyway.
What do you think, Adam?
I believe that's fine, but the only concern I have is you have to send ABCC a time frame.
I'll contact them tomorrow on Greater Gardner Chamber or Matt, and I'll get the time. I will put the time on there.
Okay.
So she'll coordinate with
Yeah.
Mr. Leclerc, and then
I believe it's like 5 to 9 PM or something like that, but I'll get that up.
But there's nothing wrong with us just approving the one-day license, and then
No.
she can take care of that portion of it with the ABCC after the fact.
Right, and the board won't be signing it until I get everything ready
Right.
and
Would we include Holly's name?
That we wouldn't even have to do that. I don't think we'd even have to
I
do
think
that.
it's just as presented.
It's just do it as presented, and Holly will do what she needs to do in the background in order to make it work. So, any other questions for the TA's office on this item? Hearing none at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the one-day wine and malt license to Valley View Farm for the event sponsored by the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce to be held at 179 Berry Road on Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, pending receipt of the certificate of liquor liability insurance.
Do I have a second?
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the one-day wine and malt license to Valley View Farm for the event sponsored by the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce to be held at 179 Berry Road on Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, pending receipt of the certificate of liquor liability insurance. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we go to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That motion passes at 7:43 PM. Item F, under new business. A budget amendment 2024-1. This budget amendment is moving money from account intergovernmental, the total of $17,630 to the following accounts. Highway personnel, $10,578, and building and grounds, $7,052, in the total of $17,630. This budget amendment is being presented under the authority of Article 22 of the 2023 annual town meeting, which I do have right here. And I believe the reason this is being done is under number 1 of that article. It says that the select board budget contains reserve transferable by the select board for merit and equity raises for non-union personnel / CBAs.
That is correct, Mr. Chair, and this is one of the accounts that one of our select board that the select board can only transfer out of. Because as that within the article, the motion that was passed at the town meeting. So what I'm gonna have is Mr. Souza come up here and explain. All of you know, since you passed a resolution, I was tasked with doing the restructuring to create the director of the public services office. I think we've accomplished that. And with this budget amendment, that will get us through where we won't have to delay the restructuring any further. And if I can.
Oh, Bob.
Have Bob come up here and
Shut the fire off on the chair. It's not bad right now.
explain it a little further if you have any questions.
Good evening, Bob Selznick, Director of Public Services in Templeton. Like you guys are talking about, it's already been voted on the town floor. So what this is incorporating my new contract and readjusting the secretary and bringing her into working with all these other departments and commissioners, and this will complete my office as far as working with the other departments.
Oh, any questions or comments from the select board or from the room at this time? Candace, go ahead.
Candace Grace, Parks and Rec. So by doing this transfer, you'll be will be gaining executive assistant. It'll be helping our rec assistant that we just put the ad in for a rec assistant. So this will give the public more folks to come out and help them. So with all our volunteers and stuff, because they work nights and weekends, with most of the volunteer aspects of it, having our rec assistant is a plus, but having an executive being there during the hours of the actual business days, helping with some of the billing and stuff like that, with our, getting our employees with their query checks and making sure that happens with the town administrator's office during the daylight hours. This transfer will allow us to have both worlds for the rec department. So we're very supportive of having the executive assistant under public services, and then having our new assistant as well, having this two teams under the umbrella of us all being together. So I think this is going to be a great thing for the town and for all the folks that work for us and all the folks that volunteer for us.
Okay.
Again, like I said, that's just one of the departments we'll work with. So.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
And this was the way where we'd have to delay this any further.
Right.
By us doing it out of our intergovernmental account, so.
So when you say other departments, you talking cemetery?
Yeah, everything that you, I'm dealing with disability, the cemeteries, building grounds, highway.
Rick.
I'm missing one somewhere.
All the things that fall under your umbrella at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Ms. Stowe.
So the secretary that we handle, or whatever the correct title is, I'm not sure what that title is. That person, is that going to be one pay rate or two different pay rates? Because I think there's a legality, it has to be one pay rate for within the town.
If I can.
Go.
The position's going from administrative assistant to an executive assistant position encompassing all the additional duties. And one rate.
So it's a bump with a title.
Correct.
Okay. The bump with the title.
It works.
It's a restructured position.
The restructured position, which has an increase. Okay.
Legal.
Legal. Mike, anything from you on this?
No, good presentation of all.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the room? All right, hearing none at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the budget amendment 2024-1 as presented and for the chair to sign.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendment 2024-1 as presented and for the chair to sign it. Is there any further discussion on said motion? Hearing none, I move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Sosik. Thank you, everyone. That motion passes at 7:49 PM. All right. Item 5G. In front of you, we have two proposals for the updating of our town hazard mitigation plan. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lamontagne for this. This is a nice thing that we have to deal with this.
So we went out, as you know, Rich Curtis was successful in getting us that grant for to update our hazard mitigation plan. So we went out, Rich, if you could come up to the desk as well. So we went out, we received quotes, we requested under the statute, we had to go out, request 3 written quotes for services. We sent it off to 3 vendors. 2 vendors came back, and the interesting part is they're both for $25,000. So what I did is I called Mr. Curtis and I said to him, well, looks like you're gonna have to review them and make a recommendation to the select board. And that's where we're at today. And with that, Mr. Curtis, if you could, I think they're both very capable vendors myself. So I think that regardless of whatever decision the board makes this evening, I think we'll be in good hands to update our hazard mitigation
Right,
plan.
they're both very good vendors. We've been dealing with for other things in town recently. But Massachusetts Regional Planning Committee has done the last 2 upgrades to the hazard mitigation.
Rich, just identify yourself, please.
Oh, Rich Curtis, Emergency Management Director.
Thank you.
So I would actually recommend the Massachusetts Regional Planning Committee only because they've done this type of work for us before.
Okay.
I was involved in the last 2. I don't know if they did them before that or I have no idea.
So I believe Mr. Curtis is making the recommendation based on past experiences with this vendor, or I shouldn't say vendor, Massachusetts Regional Planning Committee. So with that recommendation, as select board will have to make, or if you have any questions of Mr. Curtis through the chair.
Any questions from the room for Mr. Curtis on this?
No questions. I have a background in emergency management. I think that both proposals are good. Tie and Bonds is very exhaustive. They introduced the team and otherwise. If Massachusetts was to include the same information, it's basically the soup to nuts proposal. But I thought both were complete. And I know that we used both vendors in the past, so I'm happy with both of their work. But I'm inclined to follow the lead of the emergency management director.
Gary, anything you have?
I was super impressed with Ty and Bond, but Richard.
Well, I am too, but I'm
Richard's
just going by what I've personally been involved with before.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, comments from the room? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to award the update of the hazard mitigation plan to Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission in the amount of $25,000.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to award the update of the hazard mitigation plan to the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission in the amount of $25,000. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we move to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry.
I did have it.
Yes.
So.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Hold
Sorry,
off on
Mike.
that, Judge. Terry jumped in real quick and said she had a question.
No problem.
Oh,
No
Go ahead.
I know we're voting on choosing the
Yep.
plan. But do they, like, how do you, will we have this back on to get public input? Like, I would like to be part of the team that puts this together, so.
Well, you can be.
I'm just gonna say there's
There's a lot of people involved. in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Almost every department head, we need somebody from the select board, quite honestly.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have to have a town volunteer.
Yep.
Which we've had in the past, she's still available, so.
Okay.
we'll probably use her. But,
Good point, Terry. Matt, can I add another thing?
Yeah.
Just looking at both proposals, the technical evaluation of the proposals The deliverables is what I looked at, and it had pretty much everything I think Rich was looking for. I also understand, if it was a count of paper, Ty and Baldwinville, they really explain the deliverables in more
The
depth.
resumes were impressive. Holy
Yep,
crap.
they were. They have a great team, but from the technical evaluation, for the 25,000 firm fixed, I think that they met the mark with that, and that's why I agree with Rich.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that he's the one that's gonna be spearheading the whole thing, so I respect
Yep.
his.
And those interviews, that timeline, that was what impressed me about the Montechusett one.
We can do so much more for this town. The library can get involved. There's just so much more we can do to help people get knowledge of what's coming down the pike.
All right. So we still have the motion on the floor duly made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, let's try this again. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes, thank
and
you.
I vote yes as well.
Thank you.
That
Thank you,
motion
Rick.
passes at 7:56 PM.
And thanks for all your hard work. And this is like,
But we're behind, just so you know, we're behind schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because of the annual town meeting.
Yeah.
This contract came in just before it and
Yep.
it just kind of messed everything up there. Adam finally got the letters out
Mhm.
later in May. They're in, we'll catch up to the
Okay.
schedule, so the state will be happy.
100%.
really looking forward to it.
100% believe that you will.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Rich. Have a good night.
Yep.
Okay, last item of new business.
Yay.
Item 5H, action regarding the heating oil reward, heating oil award. Mr. Lamontagne, you have before us the bid results for our heating oil for fiscal year 2024. It looks like we had two bidders and one that is clearly lower than the other.
Yeah, it looks like Fraticelli lost out and the town, it worked out pretty well with Hafner's Energy North Group out of Lawrence bidding 2.799 for our locked in or in our variable rate as well. So with that, I'm pretty pleased with the results. I'm not sure if Mr. Sozik has anything further to add, but I think it's a good thing.
Bob, do you have anything further to add before I recognize Mike?
No, I think, we're set them down a little bit from a couple of years ago on pricing,
Like that.
so saving a little bit of money. Fraticelli did do an awesome job this past winter. I had no issues, and hopefully we get the same services that we have in the past that Hulu gave us.
I'm gonna ask a question with this. Is this below what we budgeted for in the fiscal 24? Smiling and shaking his head. I like it. Mr. Curry, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
Sorry, Bob was in the back of the room. He might have already said what I'm gonna ask. So for the apparent low bidder, Hafner's Energy North Group,
We can't
Mike,
hear you.
just lost your sound.
do you think that he
There we go.
could? I was doing I'm doing the space bar.
Oh,
Bob, can Hafner's Energy North respond to the energy needs? I know that you had some issues before with off-call, monitoring the tanks, making sure that they're at the right level, so we don't have like hey, Scout Hall is all out of oil. Is that a part of this, or are we just negotiating price?
No, the furnace repairs and any other repairs due to the fuel oil furnaces will be included in that service, and automatic delivery. And I might have to work a little like I've done with them in the past for a couple of weeks. I call in the levels so they're not coming out only putting 5 gallons in. Fraticelli took right off with it, monitoring it, and if we have the same employees that work with Hulu, I don't see any problems this winter.
All right, if you feel good about it. And how long is this award for?
It's good until June 15th, I believe.
basically FY 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
fiscal year.
I just have a curious sidebar question. Is that Energy North, isn't that the new gas station up there is part of that? So it's part of the same, it says Lawrence, but.
Right.
Hafner's is based out of Lawrence.
Yeah, it's in a corporate office.
Yeah, that's where their
Okay.
corporate offices is located.
Just, that's good clarification for
Yes.
people to know, because you're thinking, how are they gonna come from Lawrence?
Right.
Right,
Right, but Hafner's is who just purchased
And-
Poodle right next door over here, so,
right, and
yeah.
you know, it's great. Thank you for the clarification.
I believe it was $3 that Bob put in his budget for the heating oil.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, we budgeted $3 a gallon for heating oil, and we're coming in at 279.9, so yeah, it's below it's underneath the budget that we had put together for fiscal year 2024, thank you. Okay. Is there any further comments on this item? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion at this time.
Mr. Chair, I move to award the heating oil bid to Hafner's Energy North Group of Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to award the heating oil bid to Hafner's Energy North Group of Lawrence, Massachusetts. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we go to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That motion passes at 8:01 PM. Having completed new business, we shall now move to old business. Item 6A, a discussion on signs on the common.
Unless there's new information, I think this agenda item pertains to me. Is that correct, Adam?
Yes.
Well, also, I believe Miss Richard wanted to also discuss this item as well. I did say that you're proposing a signed bylaw for the fall town meeting. So
Yes,
at that point, so I believe it was kind of like a joint discussion between you as the chair, drafting the language for the bylaw, then Miss Richards' concerns about the increasing number of signs on the common.
Okay.
And I believe it was going to be a discussion.
Where Ms. Richards is not here this evening, should we entertain a motion to postpone to our August regular business meeting?
Yeah, we can do that. If she had concerns. And I would recommend, if it's gonna appear on old business again, I already know what I'm doing. I've already worked with town council. I've got the final language. It was almost ready to go for springtime. We just, we didn't want to try and rush everything. That's why we have the placeholders for the bylaws. So I don't need anything else. If she had some concerns, I can either work them offline, but if it appears on the agenda, again, I just want her name on it so we know who's leading the discussion. So I would make a motion to table the discussion related to signs on the common.
Have a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to table discussion related to signs on the common to the next select board business meeting. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Curry.
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That motion passes at 8:03 PM. 6B of old business, an update regarding the Baldwinville Elementary School project. Mr. Lamontagne or someone or Mr. Curry, who is taking this one, or Mr. Korb?
Hi, Jason Korb here with Matt Zoller.
Hey, everybody.
We had fully intended to join you in person tonight. We are in a parking lot soaking wet after some transportation issues. So we're still here nonetheless. So
We remain steadfast.
Matt, do you want to give a quick, yeah.
Jason,
Sure.
before we begin, just for the public's knowledge, this is item 6B in your packet. And it is a memorandum from MPZ Development and Capstone Communities. Jason, go ahead. You can continue. You can go ahead with your update.
Sure, I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
Great. Thanks, Jason. And apologies for any background noise, everybody. We appreciate you working with us on this. So we provided a memo to the board as an update. Unfortunately, the project did not receive a green light from the EOHLC, now that was formerly DHCD funding round. And so we wanted to update the board as it related to, how that came about. So our memo kind of summarizes all of the things that, we've done to date to move the project forward. And then the feedback we got from the state was essentially that we have a gap that we need to kind of figure out how to address. And so that was the second half of our memo, where we outlined some strategies that we had to combat the sizable gap. And it's due to construction costs escalating over time since we started the project, as well as a myriad of other factors, which we
increased interest rates, as you can, as everybody has seen over the last number of months.
Yeah.
And the state still seems obviously very interested in the project. And your commitment to the project is really what's carrying it forward. And we want you to know that. The state wants to see cities and towns, such as Templeton, be out front, both in the size of the CPA commitment that you've awarded, as well as the words that you've spoken. And we watched the end of the last select board meeting. I think it was the last one.
Yeah.
Where the chairperson said some really encouraging words, which we appreciated.
So we do have a couple of ideas on how to work through this, and one of which was I appeared before the CPC to make an additional request of funds at their last meeting. They were very receptive to the request, but they wanted more information. And so we're actively putting that together, and we've put together a community event, which we sent a flyer to Adam. And on the 26th, we're going to do an open house at the school. We've invited former Senator Ann Goby, now Director of Rural Affairs, to come and participate and speak with folks. We're going to give tours of the school building itself, and then present the plan to the community. And also Representative Zlotnick is going to attend. We've confirmed his attendance. So we thought that would be a good way to kind of continue the dialogue, and get more information out to the CPC. So when we make our second application to them, everybody knows what's going on with the project. Maybe I'll stop there. We do have one other item we wanted to discuss with you, but maybe let's talk about those things first, if that's okay.
Okay. Any questions for Jason and Matthew regarding the additional CPC funds that they want to request, and the plan for involving and educating the community on that portion of it? Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Jason. Good to talk to you guys. Yeah, good evening, Matt. This is a tough one. My kids tell me you can never double cross fingers. I didn't know that growing up, so maybe I was trying to single cross my fingers. So it is unfortunate that we didn't get that source of funding. I would really look. This community needs this project. I think it is going to be a lot more than just earning some mixed income housing or otherwise. It's going to be a revitalization project. We have a lot of properties that need some attention, and this is one of those, once in a lifetime opportunities to be able to grow your community in such a great way. Green space, quality housing, right in our village district, and the community has embraced it as well. So if we have to tighten the belt, if we have to, the CPC's already given you some great indications as far as what they could present to the community to say we can do this. Whatever we can do with the list of your ideas, acquisition price for the school or otherwise, I'm open to it. Whatever we need to do to make this, my feeling is whatever we need to do within the public's reason to get this across the finish line. That's it. That's all I got, Matt.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Any other questions or comments from the room regarding this? Adam?
If I could also further add, I believe the Community Preservation Committee will be discussing this project at their meeting tomorrow evening as well. Just for clarification, because it's one of their items that they mentioned here. Their ask to the CPC. So just for folks out there that may be interested in this project and keeping track of what's going on. The meeting tomorrow, I believe the meeting tomorrow with CPC, they'll be discussing this as well. I'm not sure, through the chair to Matt Zoller, were you invited to that meeting or?
So Adam, we weren't invited because I thought that we needed to have this community event. That was one of the requests.
Okay.
So that was the way I understood it, but I may have misunderstood it. I have made some mistakes before. So apologies for that if I misunderstood. But yeah, if they would like one of us to appear, we can certainly figure that out and have a larger conversation about the projects.
May I suggest through the chair, Mr. Zoller, just reaching out to Mr. Henshaw, perhaps before the meeting, if the,
It was discussed for to go to the community to ask the community their input. So we'd like to they always put whatever we did last week, and the last meeting goes on our agenda. So we just, it can be listed, but it may not be something that we're voting on or that kind of a thing. It's always like, it carries over so that we're always on point on our projects and our things on that board. That's clarification. I don't know.
well, I mean, if Mr. Zoller wants to reach out to Mr. Henshaw, I leave that up to him to decide.
Sure, I can do that.
It's a public meeting.
It is a public meeting, yeah.
I'm just thinking of because if he needs the link for the meeting.
Oh, that's true. If you may need the link for the meeting, if you can't attend in person, this way you can at least attend via Zoom. That's true too. So,
yeah.
So yeah, reach out to John Henshaw and at least get that. And if you can't make it in person, you'll have that and you can attend virtually.
Great.
Okay.
So the other item we had on our list for you was related to the acquisition price of the school, which I believe is in the purview of the select board.
Mm-hmm.
And we are getting ready to make a subsequent application to DHCD. So we have been asked to join what is called a mini round, where we submitted another pre-application for the project. That was on June 30th. And then on September 30th, we'll follow up with some additional information. We are going to kind of list the things that we're working through and that are in the memo that we provided. But the question for the board would be, is it possible to reduce the purchase price of the school and show that to EOHLC as a material contribution from the community so that we can make inroads to closing this budget gap? So we would love your thoughts on that.
I certainly think that we would not be able to make a decision on that at this meeting. We would have to put that to an agenda on a future meeting for sure. Mike, you have thoughts on that?
Adam, is there anything that would restrict us from reducing the offer?
The only
Town meeting, anything?
The only thing I could recall is we would just have to update the developer designation agreement.
Okay.
If the board were open to the adjustment.
I am open to doing that. That is a reasonable ask in my estimation. But I agree with Matt. If that I would feel better if it needed a formal vote, that we would do that at our next scheduled meeting, provided that Matt and Jason didn't need it in order to proceed with item 3 on their item 3, 3 and 4 on their list. If it was time sensitive, you know, we could have that discussion, but I would feel more comfortable. I feel good about it. I think it's reasonable.
Thank you. We appreciate that acknowledgement and your thinking that it's reasonable. Certainly, let's talk about it at the next meeting once everybody has all the information they need in front of them. But that is something we could offer in our upcoming resubmission that's material and would, you know, the state would look upon that very fondly.
But
Yep.
to answer your
I'm
question,
only
it's
one
not
of
something
five.
We would not need that tonight. We would
We
not
don't
need
need
that
that
tonight.
tonight.
The next.
Yeah,
meeting
because
would be
I'm
fine.
one of five. I think the board, we've only
Yeah.
got three of the board. And I
Right.
would want any kind of consideration that they may have.
Yeah,
But I
So
certainly
we
think
fully
that
agree.
that's a reasonable ask because we want this project. And we don't want to, I don't want to perseverate over in the grand scheme of things and how much this project is going to cost. This is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
From my perception. So, but I definitely want the full board when we're all there and I'm good.
We can certainly be there in person to discuss
Okay.
it with the board and make sure everybody's comfortable and all questions are answered. So we appreciate that.
So Jason and Matthew, the next business meeting of the board is going to be the second Wednesday of August. I don't have the exact date in front of me. I apologize.
August,
I'm sorry,
August 9th.
August 9th. So if you can pencil that in on your calendars to know that you'll be on that agenda, and I would ask the administrative assistant to put that on the next select board agenda under new business reduction in price of the Baldwinville Center School. I'm sorry,
Old business or new business?
old or new?
It's a old business. Right?
Old business.
They'll put it under action. Plan.
We'll put it under action old business action Baldwinville Center School price reduction.
Understood. We'll get that.
Okay. Jason, Matthew, do you have anything else you wanted to present this evening?
No, we just, we want to reiterate that we are fully committed to this project. And the fact that this board and the other boards in the community and the community itself are amazing to work with and so supportive. And we can't tell you how, how great that is for us and for the project. So we are really appreciative of everybody and their time. Jason.
yeah, no, thank you.
Well, yeah, we'll see you on the 26th.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and we really would love to see all of you there.
That would be great.
Yeah, and please tell your friends and neighbors, and we're gonna do a tour of the school, I believe.
And we're
So, yeah.
publicizing it on Facebook
Yeah.
and all the channels, and Adam is helping us with that.
Jason
Through
and
the
Matthew,
town
you're
website,
breaking
et
up a little bit.
cetera.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Time on that?
All right, thank you. You said that the public meeting was July
All right, thank
26th.
you.
July 26th,
26th.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
July 26th, 5 p.m., Baldwinville Center School.
And we'll be putting the flyer up on the webpage as well.
The flyer will go up on the webpage as well. Okay. Jason, Matthew, thank you so much for your time this evening. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. This action item of old business did not require a motion or any sort of action going forward. And so at this time, we move to, I'm going to make one comment first, that there is an agenda item on here, 8 executive session and possible action. We are not going to use that agenda item. We are going to pass it. So at this time, we are going to move to board member and administrator comments and reports. And I'm going to ask Mr. Curry to start if he would be so kind.
I am good this evening. Thanks for all your leadership this evening, Matt.
You're welcome, Mike. Terry, any comments this evening?
Yeah, on the next agenda, can we get an update on the month-to-month forecast? How that's going?
From the accountant, I believe is the monthly forecasting is what we're looking
Right.
for. Yeah,
If we could delay that till September,
Yeah.
and we delay that till September is.
the August agenda is looking pretty.
The August agenda is looking full, because don't forget, it's gonna be a 1 month agenda instead of a 2-weeker.
Okay. Okay,
Can you do that for September? Would that be okay?
on recommendation.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anything else, Terry?
Mm,
No? Town administrator and his staff, anything from you folks this evening?
I will tell you, I was just talking with select board member Griffiths, who came in the office, and Holly and I were chatting, and I haven't worked with our website for some time. So since I've been I want to say since I've been the assistant town administrator, so I went on there to try to use it again, because you know, if you don't use it, you lose it type of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
So I went on there and I started, I'm going to try to get up there, highlights of projects that we're completing in town, because I think so often we get caught in negativity
Mhm.
and we lose sight of all the important things that are getting done here. And progress, as you just heard from Candace and I'm not sure if Bob mentioned as well, you're going to be having the restrooms getting done over there, as well as the concession stand, a lot of improvements there. I mean, that project stopped, I think it was 2013, sat idle for over 10 years. And when that one's finally getting across the finish line, you have all these other problem properties the town's addressing. I know there's a lot out there. We're getting to them. We're tackling them one by one. Another thing I just put up there about the River's Edge Conservation Area project highlight. So we really want to start talking about these things. That was the first step of the revitalization of Baldwinville. Then obviously we were tackling other issues in that vicinity. The other side of town, all the road projects were getting done, South Road, Hubbardson Road. I mean, we're getting so much work done. I just don't want us getting sidetracked off onto issues, you know. Yeah, there's times where the minutes aren't exactly 100%, you know, but those could be corrected. Those are more of but the real thing is, are we making the town of Templeton a little bit of a better place, quality of life overall better each and every day? That's how I look at. And I also look at how town meeting, last town meeting, the select board presented 33 articles, and every single one of those articles passed. That shows that the public supports the select board, and that's the takeaway. That's all I got.
Thank you, Adam. Jackie, Holly, anything? No? Good. Okay.
What's the status of 10 Pleasant Street?
So.
better.
Yeah, well, that doesn't take much. That doesn't take much. Adam, do you want, so the status of 10 Pleasant Street as of right now is that, I guess all our demolition work at this point is complete. That's correct. Whatever we needed to get remediated out of there is done. That's all gone. We're set there. The
email request.
Oh,
the citizen.
Oh, yeah. So the select board, or the town administrator's office and the select board were informed that there is a petition going around to have the use of 10 Pleasant Street as a potential as a dog park that is going to be put on, that is going to be attempted to put on the warrant for the fall town meeting. It's going to be attempted to put on the warrant for the fall town meeting. So until we have finalization on whether or not it makes it or not, okay, because the fall town meeting is a little more difficult to get a warrant onto because it takes 100 signatures versus 10.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Point of order. I have nothing to review in order to have this discussion, and it's not on the agenda. If we want to get an update with some supporting documentation that you're talking about, I would put it on the next select board meeting. And I would request that we do that. But I'm not prepared to have that discussion because I don't have any of the information you're talking about.
Okay. So.
Yeah, well, I thought the plan was to put it out to bid so that you can.
That's what
have
town meeting
revenue.
is.
So that you can have revenue.
It's not on the agenda,
It's not on the agenda, so we're gonna hold it. It's not on the agenda, so we're gonna hold it.
But hey, the fact that you brought it up, I don't have any information. We'll put it on the next agenda.
So we'll put it on the
I know
next-
that you both have questions about it, but I'm not prepared to talk about it in old business this evening.
Thought the next agenda was full. Yeah.
If this is a priority, we'll get to
If
it.
it's a priority, we can get to it.
If the public wants to know what's going on with that, we can absolutely get that information.
You want to know what's going on with forecasting too.
Okay.
We'll put it on the next agenda, then we'll put it on for August.
No, it's my job with Adam to be able to review
Agenda.
that. So that's exactly what I'll do. And if we need to balance,
We'll do it.
I don't want another 4-hour meeting. Our minds are junk at the end of the evening, and I want to make sure we have good discussion. So Terry, if we need to get it in there, we will get it in there.
Thank you.
So we'll put it on the next agenda. We will put it on the agenda for the next meeting to have an update on that information.
Yep. And Matt, I would say to that, that doesn't stop the discussion. They can still ask questions of the town administrator or otherwise. It's just as far as deliberation in this open public meeting, we're not prepared to speak it. It wasn't on the agenda, but that doesn't stop the people in the audience from asking questions. And if they can get them information more timely than the next meeting, they can do that. We can do that.
Yep. Okay.
Just curious, is there a way to put updates on the webpage?
Not without any
Well,
sort of.
generally, when we do updates, it's more of. I don't want to get too off track, but when we go out to bid, we put it up there. We follow the processes that we follow.
Because you did such a good job with the River's Edge and
Thank you.
the doors.
We don't have, but with this, we don't have anything. We don't have any physical yet.
One point of order is that in its town, the last town meeting,
Mhm.
it was voted already on.
Mhm.
And to delay the sale, assuming everything else goes through.
Point of order, Mr. Chair, we're in board member comments.
Yeah, we're gonna continue. We're gonna move forward. Again, we will put the update on the next meeting. Okay? We will put an update on the next meeting.
Okay, quick question. Sorry, I know we're trying to get the heck out of here. Candy, do you need volunteers for the dunk tank on National Play Outside Day?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you heard it from.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sit at the dump tank.
Your officer's comments are all set. I think.
I believe we're all good.
You're good there. You're good. Okay. My comments this evening are just, number one, thank you everyone for bearing with me. This was sprung on me 15 minutes before the meeting, so it's kind of slight surprise. So, anyways, thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully we've gone through everything okay and we're all set here. My comments this evening are, just a quick comment, for all of our young people. This past weekend passed a sad anniversary for me and my family. My sister, who was 17 years old, passed away 20 years ago on July 8th, 2023. She was involved in a single car accident in Gardner at the time on a road that was known as Roller Coaster Road, very hilly and up and down, and she was going too fast. And the thing that I want to just implore upon our young people and everyone is just be safe, be smart. And if you think something is not safe, it probably isn't. Give it serious consideration. And the other thing is don't give in to peer pressure. If your friends are telling you to do something and you know in your mind it is not safe, don't do it. We want you to come home from whatever it is you're doing in the same way that you left, and no one should ever have to go through that sort of thing. So just be safe about your activities this summer and have a fun and safe summer, and make sure we do everything safely and so that you come home the same way you left. That's my comments for this evening. Once again, executive session is on the agenda. We are going to pass over that item. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second to adjourn. At this time, is there any discussion on said motion?
Next meeting is August 9th.
August 9th, 2023, 6:30 PM.
Great, thank you. Sorry for your loss, Matt.
No, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we go to a roll call vote. Mr. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. The Templeton Select Board stands